Hello everyone, today we will see what is a finite automata, and this is the basic introduction and a detailed description. So first we need to know what is an automata, what is the basic definition of automata. An automata is defined as a system that performs certain functions without human intervention. This is the basic definition of automata. It accepts the raw material and energy as input and converts them into the final product under the guidance of control signals. So, an automata can be designed to perform a variety of tasks related to various domains of human life, and the domain of discussion and application in our case is limited to the language recognition process. It is a very cumbersome task to make the machine identify the human language or to be processed and analyzed. So the simplest kind of language recognition machine is the finite state machine, which is FSM. And FSM is a abbreviation for finite state machine. It consists of a number of states and some basic rules for transition from one state to the another, and a string of characters is recognized by the FSM if on the complete consumption of the string it holds in a acceptor or the final state. An automaton in the form of an FSM is known as finite automata, and a finite automaton in the case of language recognition process accepts input as a string for a given language L and decides if the string is a valid construct or sentence or word or not. Thus the input to the finite automata is a string of characters and the output is yes or no, whether the string belongs to that language or not. The word automata is a singular and therefore refers to a particular transition system, and the plural counterpart of the automaton is known as automata, which is this. And so let us study the basic structure and the function of a finite automata. A finite automata can be easily understood with the help of an example of a motor fan. Let me get the pointer. Yes. Let me introduce you to the finite automata using the example of a motor fan. You know, a motor fan is initially in the state off, and when we turn off the fan, it turns on, and when we turn off the fan in the on state, it tries to turn off. And so here we can visualize this in terms of automata as follows. Initially the state is off, which is denoted by this circle. Initially the state is off. This arrow is used to denote the initial state. It has to be joined by the circle, and this circle is denoted as a state in finite automata, and so it means the fan is initially off. And so what we have done, we have provided this path, which is we have provided a on command to the fan, and so with the getting of on command, the fan will try to turn on, and so it will jump to the new state, which is on state. Now the fan will work, but but there is a problem that if the fan is in on state, we can also give the on command, which is not possible practically, but theoretically it is possible. And so theoretically, if you try to give on command to a state in a state on, and you try to give the same command of on in the state on, so it will go this path and it will come back to the same state, and so it is the self loop on the on state. And so whenever the on state retrieves a off signal from the user, it will tries to follow this path, and so it will go back to its initial state, which is off state. And so this is the working of the fan in terms of automata. And automata is marked by few features as follows, which is state, as we have discussed, off state and on state. A transition function is the function which allows the transition from one state to another with the getting of the control signal or the input symbol. And so input symbol is necessary to retrieve the command from the user, and the final state is the state that we receive, that is wanted by the user. So if we want the finite automata to land in the on state. So the on state will be this state. It is marked by double circles on the state. So guys, just a minute. So now we know that an automata can be visualized as a set of states, a transition function, an input symbol, a finite state, and a final state, and a initial state. That is the starting state of the machine. And so initially the machine will be in the starting state, and then it will reach the final state. And so now we look at the definition of finite automata and detailed description. Let me get the pointer. Yes. What is finite automata? It is necessary to know what is an automata, what is the structure of a finite automata, and so what are the properties of finite automata. So now we see that a finite automata is a 5-tuple structure defined by M, denotes machine, brackets denote the properties, which is Q, sigma, Q naught, delta, and F, where Q is a finite set of states in which the finite automata can exist, and sigma is a set of symbols that can be fed to the finite automata, and Q naught is the starting state of the finite automata, and delta here is the set of transition function that determines the next state given the current state of the finite automata and the current input symbol. And F denotes the set of final state, which it can be many final states or a single final state. So in our previous example, Q is a set of final state which is off and on, and the sigma, which is the input symbol, is on or off. We can also mark the state as Q0, Q1, Q2 as per our choice. And delta is the transition function. It defines the transition from one state to another state based on current state and the current input symbol on that state. Now figure 3.1 shows an example of a finite automata M. So here we can see that Q0 is the initial state, and on getting the input symbol A in the state Q0, it jumps to the state Q1. And you see this interesting thing that the two circles around this state Q2 and Q4 denotes the final state. So here Q0 is the initial state, so on getting the input symbol A, it jumps to Q1, and the Q1 has two input symbol, which is B and C. On getting the input symbol B, it jumps to the final state Q2, and on getting the input symbol C, it goes to the state Q4, which is also a final state. And after in state Q2, which is this one, whenever it gets a input symbol C, it jumps to the state C defined, which is Q3. And on reaching the state Q3, if it encounters a symbol B, so it jumps to the state Q4. So we can say that Q4 is the final state as well as Q2 is also a final state. So now in the finite automata M, Q is a set of all finite set of Q is the finite set of states, and at any instant the finite automata M can exist in any one of the states, and the states are conventionally represented by the lower case alphabets of Q or S with the numeric subscripts to differentiate among various states. And the states can also be represented by the capital letters. And the sigma, which is input symbol A, B, C, it represents the character set of the language L to be recognized by the finite automata M. A sentence or word is not valid in L if even for a single character X in the sentence word X does not belong to sigma. That is, for a word to be belonging to the language L, it should, all the symbols in the string must belong to the character set, which is sigma. So every character of the input sentence fed to the finite automata should belongs to sigma. So now the state Q0 is the starting state of M. This is the initial state in which the finite automata M exists, which is also called the beginning or the starting state. The finite automata reaches this state without consuming any character. To reach any other state, the finite automata consumes a character and a state with an arrow from free space is designated as an initial state, as we have seen earlier. Normally there is only one starting state in a finite automata. However, there is such restriction and one can construct a finite automata with more than one initial states if necessary. Now the fourth point is that the set of transition function is the functional description of a finite automata. It shows how the automata will behave given its current state and current input symbol. So del can be expressed. Del is the notation for transition function. It can be expressed by a transition diagram. Figure 3.1 shows the transition diagram of the finite automata M. It shows that given the current state Q1 and the input symbol B, the finite automata will move to the state Q2. So as we have seen in the example of 3.1, this is the transition function for that finite automata, and the transition function can be expressed by a transition table, which is this table, and this table shows the transition table. So there is a partition of rows and columns. These are the input symbols A, B, C are the input symbols. Current states, which is these states. So here we can easily conclude that on state Q0, if we get the symbol A, we will reach to the state Q1, and if on state Q0 if we get the symbol B and C, then there will be no transition, as there is no path from Q0 to any other state on getting the input symbol B and C. Similarly for Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, here Q4 is the initial state, final state, so there is no path from Q4 to any state. So this is the description of that finite automata that we have seen. Here in the transition table, the first column denotes the current state. An arrow before the Q0 indicates that it is the initial state. If an input symbol A is given to the finite automata in the state Q0, then it moves to the next state Q1, and if the input symbol B or C is given, then it halts in the state Q0. So this is the basic description of all the finite automata that we have studied till now. So the transition function is denoted as follows. Suppose the Q0 state receives a symbol A and goes to the symbol state Q1. So the transition of this is denoted as del Q0, which is the state marked by the input symbol, which is A. Then on getting the input symbol A, it will follow the transition rule to go to the state Q1. So this is how we declare the transition function. This del represent the transition function notation, Q0 represent the state, A represent the input symbol, and this one represent the next state of the Q0 after getting the input symbol A. So now we will see what is the language defined by the finite automata. As we all know that a language is a set of valid strings, and there has to be a mechanism to check its validity for the finite automata. In conventional human language, grammar does this job. So in automata theory, we need to automate this process of validation using a tool. So one such tool is the finite automata. A string W which belongs to the language L1 corresponds to the finite automata M1 if and only if at the end of the fetching of string W, M1 reaches an acceptor state or the final state. So let L be the language corresponding to the finite automata M as denoted in this figure. Then we will be able to find that A, B, C does not belongs to L, neither A, C belongs to L, does not belongs to L, neither AC belongs to L, neither ABCB belongs to L, neither AB, neither ABB. As you have been told earlier that any string to be accepted by the finite automata, each individual character or symbol of the string should belongs to L. Since we know that only A belongs to L, then ABC is not accepted. Any string which contains characters other than A will not be accepted. So it can be said that the language recognition method for L has been automated and can be performed without any human intervention by simply using the finite automata M. For an example, for the finite automata in the figure, the language generated will be A, triple A, 4 A's, 5 A's and so on. So this is the language which has to be accepted by the finite automata. A finite automata is a very limited capability machine and a very small class of languages known as the regular languages can be automated on it for the recognition process. However, it is one of the basic or fundamental machines and is quite used in many problems related to computing. And so now we come to the term extended transition function and its properties. So we see that normally the transition on a finite automata starts in the initial state and at its complete consumption it ends in a state that may be final or non-final using the transition function. However, if the execution is started in any other state of the finite automata and an input symbol is given at the state, then the behavior of the string is defined by the extended transition function. Thus one can define the extended transition function as the one that describes the behavior of the string when the input at a state other than initial. So it can be seen that the behavior of the extended transition function is the same as that of a normal transition function, with the only difference being the placement of the string, which can be in any state in the automaton. Thus the extended transition function can be differentiated from normal transition function by placing a small cap symbol on it where distinction is to be made. For an example, if G is a transition function, then G dash, which is G with a cape symbol on top, is a representation of the extended transition function G. So the general properties of the transition function are referred to as the properties of extended transition function because these are valid for all states of finite automata. Following are some properties of the transition function, which is extended transition function, and the symbol used here is delta instead of L because it makes no difference as it is a subcategory of the transition function. So these are the properties of the extended transition function. Property 1 says that delta in any state Qj on getting the input symbol epsilon, which is a null string, reaches to the state Qj. That means whenever on any state if we encounter a epsilon symbol, then there will be no transition, it will remain in its own state. Here the state is Qj initially and the next state is also a Qj. So this property indicates that a transition in a finite automata can occur only on the receipt of the input symbol. The change of the state cannot be accomplished using the null string epsilon. Thus a null string is a string of length 0. Now the next property says that del of Qj AW, that is del of Qj on getting the input symbol AW, as you can see, it is equivalent to writing it as the delta of another delta. These are the examples of nested deltas. qj is the state. So first we will analyze the state for the symbol A, then W, so QA, then we will go to the symbol W, then whatever will be the resulting state will be produced here. So let us read the theoretical description. Property del qj aw is equivalent to writing del of qj a followed by w, where a is the input symbol and w is a string of characters. This property indicates that a transition function is performed character by character in the sequence given in the input string. So guys, that is it for now. Head over to the next video to watch another Theory of Automata series, and do write your feedback in the comment section below. Do write your queries also. So if you have any queries, any complaint, do write your feedback. Thanks guys for watching. Stay tuned. Bye bye. Do subscribe. Bye.